Warning, all attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar where we're going to hopefully teach you some new things about the stock market and how that information is going to help you reach levels of profits you've never, ever seen before. But first, before we get started, a disclaimer. All the information that you're going to receive on this webinar is for educational and informational purposes only. No mention of securities should be construed as a solicitation to buy or sell those securities. You are just learning, not being advised. Okay, now let's get ready to start. Steve Gomez is joining me today on this webinar. Steve, how are you, my friend?
I'm fine, and your voice sounds like a professional radio mic voice. You sound good, Dan.
Thank you, thank you. Steve,
yes.
This audience is going to get a special treat because you and I are going to talk a lot about how fast the evolution of the modern market is happening and how, quote unquote, it's different this time. Are you ready?
I'm ready. And for those that don't know or may care, I'm user number 3 in the Trade Ideas system, and pretty proud of that because Dan came to me back in 2002 and said, Steve, my friend, if I could build something that would be of value to you, would you like it and would you buy it? And I said, yeah. And lo and behold, that particular scan that I requested and Dan and Phil delivered for us in 2002 is still in play and still in the library and still doing a good job. So that's how I fit in here, everybody.
So Steve, let me get people to kind of think about a term called alternative research. What Trade Ideas really is, ladies and gentlemen, we are the alt research of the stock market. Okay? We're the different perspective, and what Steve simply brought up, which is one of the really exciting things about the presentation that you're going to see today, is that between Steve and myself and all the other participants of Trade Ideas, we literally have over 100 years of collective, active, self-directed trading and investment management experience. And that is the technology you're going to see in this presentation after we kind of set the stage, which is what we're doing right now. Steve, you ready to go hunting?
Let's go pack hunting.
Let's do a little hunting. So ladies and gentlemen, in the stock market, we hunt for this thing called alpha. Alpha is outsized returns. Now, I'm going to stay on the slide because it's important. It kind of repeats itself, but you really need to get this through in terms of what Steve and I are trying to communicate. You're being manipulated by people who want you to give them their money. So there are lots of floating memes out there with information such as, Steve, like market's too complicated, people don't know how to, these kind of acoustic and perceptual barriers that exist between people and being able to control their own finances. So the first thing that you have to understand is you got to make the move to be self-managed. Not completely, of course, but certainly proportionately. You have to put some money in the market where you're managing it, which brings us to the wolves. They're hunting. So if you are just in the market and you're being managed by other people, you're going to be average. Average are the people that don't get promoted.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just how it works. Also, average are the people you don't see playing in the NBA. You know, those are the guys that were excelling. You know, you don't see too many CEOs in the average department. Why are they not average? Because they're doing something different. So that's what we would like for you to think about. Doing something different, and we're back at the wolves. So Steve, you and I have talked about this before. Which wolf are you? Most people don't know.
Are you asking me? Which wolf am I?
I'm kind of making a statement. You know, I like the pauses because most people do not know which wolf they are. By the time they get some information, they are most likely actually the last wolf.
Yeah, well, let me answer that. I would prefer to be the alpha wolf, getting the good underbelly, and not the sub-alpha waiting for the carcass to come up.
Exactly. Even if you are the last wolf and you're lucky enough to get a nibble, you know, we've seen the National Geographics of how it unfolds. You know, there's a big fight, big fight for the alpha. And so what we want to do is we want to introduce you guys to a smarter approach, an approach that the fake news financial media tells you doesn't exist, but the alternative fintech financial news wants to let the cat out of the bag. Steve, what's the cat pouncing on?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it's a metaphor, of course.
Yes, I'm not up to speed on your metaphor.
Steve, damn it, Steve, you play a good foil. I like it. Steve, I think Steve is running under a secret program to make sure that my mind is a fusion reactor.
It's all about misdirection.
But the leopard is here to show you a different approach to hunting. Let's go back real quick just to get an idea. These wolves are chasing. So imagine when you hear something on Twitter, or by the time you read it on Yahoo Finance or Google, or Jesus, if you see it on CNBC, it happened last year. Okay. Whereas the leopard knows what he's looking for. It's a different strategy. So knowing what he's looking for, he's sitting there ready to go. We animated this so you can imagine, because listen, we don't want to bore you with stupid numbers. We'll do that later. Imagine this is how the right way to find a stock and catch its alpha. Because that's what we're doing, right, Steve? We want to get a stock and capture its untapped potential. A stock has potential energy in it, and we are looking to capture that potential with artificial intelligence, stuff that all the fake news tells you doesn't exist.
Yeah, stuff you're not going to hear on CNBC, that's for sure.
Yeah. So this is just a little bit of background information before we dive into what we're doing. Trade Ideas is a company, as Steve said, that's been around since 2003. We are a self-funded, no outside invested, completely proprietary, skunk works making, magic producing, no board meeting having corporation that's taking technology for the individual investor to the next level. And when we started the artificial intelligence, we were already going through a growth phase because people are starting to catch on. You know, one of the things that you need to do is, you know, timing. It's kind of interesting, Steve, you know, you and I have been doing a lot of research on YouTube on lots of different stuff, and you imagine, you know, the car business and Ford and how it all started, but what you don't hear about is there's a bunch of pre-Fords, and, you know, and Ford was the one that made it. Right. So it's kind of like that with us. You know, we've been in the analytics game since 2003, and we've been creating this technology since 2003. And this technology has blossomed because we've never thrown it away. We've been continuously developing and developing and developing and developing, kind of anticipating what's happening right now, which is the rebirth of the self-directed market and the culmination of technological innovations that are making our AI possible. So I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, our growth. The company that's presenting to you right now is the fastest growing subscription service for financial services in the United States. We have entered the Inc. 5000 of the fastest growing profitable companies in the United States, most likely taking first place next year, Steve.
I wonder where we'll be next year after this wonderful year we've just logged.
Well, I guess number one, but I always guess that. Okay, so these are, Steve, you know, you've done a little bit on this, so can you explain to people what they're seeing here, and don't play the foil this time, making me think about it.
This is one of our flagship tools, the artificial intelligence that we call Holly. And this is basically a graph broken down. Looks like it's going back to January 17. So this is this year, okay? And this particular breakdown is got some metrics in there that allow for commissions and slippage. You'll see the bottom line, the SPY, S&P 500 performance at a starting value of $1 million, and now, I'm sorry, starting value of 100,000 is now at 117,000. The AI performance gross, let's flip up to the top, the dark green line, just outperforming the S&P, you know, much like we like to refer to this as the casino odds factor. It's just a steady growth upwards that's outperforming the indexes. The middle line there is the net performance after commissions and slippage. And so this is something that was in a recent PR release by Trade Ideas to kind of give people a better flavor of how the AI has done compared to the S&P over the course of a year in these aggregate totals that you're looking at there.
To play assistant to your beautiful performance there, Steve, I'd like to add something.
Please.
You know, again, I want to reiterate the fact that people say, number one, that this is impossible because the market's efficient. So I want to say that we've proved that wrong. And we're not saying that the market's completely inefficient. It's just that blanket definitions are not how the things work. It's more of a wave phenomenon where you have inefficiencies, they disappear, then they appear, then they disappear. The other thing that I want to say is that we challenge the notion. We challenge the notion that a bunch of suits at some company called the S&P are going to come up with a group of 500 stocks, and those stocks are going to outperform the stocks that our AI comes up. Because we all have all of their data, but they don't have ours. Do you guys think that the S&P has some magic in it that you aren't aware of? I mean, there's just how much the stock trades, right, Steve? And then all the fundamental data for the company.
Well, yeah, one could argue the rejiggering of the different weightings to suit certain narratives that could come into play, but yes, I agree with you.
And what we are saying is that that is so inefficient. You know, that's like trying to use smoke signals in fighter pilot warfare. And that is why you see the results that you're seeing. Poor S&P just doesn't stand a chance. So on the one hand, you've got the whole industry, the fake financial news telling you guys, you know, you can just get the S&P, you're going to be doing good. And on the other side, you've got us, the alt financial news telling you, here's what's possible. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. But again, let's go back to here. This isn't, I mean, whether you decide to or not to, it's happening. As one of my favorite episodes in the HBO series Oz once said, Steve, kiss or kick.
What does that mean?
Either way, it's going to happen.
Okay, you can let it go, or you can accept it.
That's right. You can fight
resist it,
or you can resist it, or you can go with it. But you're going either way.
Mm-hmm.
Kiss or kick, people. Kiss or kick. Now the
lovely prison analogy there. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Steve. You know, Oz, they can communicate things. I want this webinar to resonate. I don't want to sit there and be bad. You know, how many times have you and I sit there and listen to, let me tell you about this system when the line crosses the dot of the dot at the top. No, Steve.
No.
Our viewers don't deserve that stuff. What they deserve is magic. And can I tell you, Steve, why I'm saying the word magic?
No. Yes, you can tell me.
I'll tell you, because when you create technology that is so far ahead of the market, people think it's magic. They think it looks like wizardry. Are you guys, is this the devil? And look, people, you're seeing a lot of things. You're seeing a lot of things, but have no fear. This is our AI channel. This is a console of artificial intelligence. This is your digital blackjack table per se, or craps table per se, except you have a robot assistant. You're playing golf here with Tiger Woods, let's say.
You're sitting next to an MIT card counter, let's say.
Exactly. This is the future. Okay, let me show you what you're seeing. Over here, you're seeing how many points did the AI make in the market. In other words, if you were trading one share and there was no slippage from the AI, that is, the AI acquired 2.16 points. Today, for example, Steve, if you could look up, since I'm watching the presentation, what did the SPY index close? That's what we usually compare with. Well, it was like down 0.04, I think, or something close. Can you look it up on your end?
I'm sorry, I was on mute there, magic mute. Yeah, it's pretty much flat, down 4 cents, down 0.01% on volume that was almost twice normal, 1.5 times normal.
Right. So every day what happens is our artificial intelligence, which you're looking here in my mouse, has these strategies. Like one is called bullish trend change, one is called quarterback, one is called on support. And if we go back to the leopard, each one of these strategies is kind of like a leopard that's waiting for something to come under the tree to pounce. And when the leopard sees something come across, it attacks. It attacks SBOW and attacks RIOT at $7.85 on the 7th of November. Steve, just real quick.
Riot. Speaking of riot, right?
Yeah, remind me, Steve, where is RIOT right now? That the AI, mentioned it to our subscribers of
well,
the AI on the 7th.
It peaked out at 33, and now it's trading back down around 23. But it's been quite a volatile ride. When the AI was looking at it, where at $7?
$7.85. So I believe what you're seeing here is the AI is pointing to our investors that there's kind of like Bitcoin potential in the stock market without, quote unquote, the Bitcoin risk.
Mm-hmm.
Silence fills the room. Yeah, people.
Pregnant pause.
I mean, I just want to, again, don't overthink it. Our whole job of our AI is to find you things that you can get into, that you can stay in. People say, is this for day trading? Is this for swing trading? It's for both. And
for
they're
whatever you want it to be. It's for whatever you want it to be. It's a discretionary market with, it's not a science, it's an art form.
It's the risk that you can tolerate is what dictates what you are going to be. Okay? And riot. And again, remember, the task of our AI is not to find an RSI or an MACD or all the other things that I feel piercing with a sword.
Moving average convergence.
Convergence, all these things that were invented by cavemen in cavemen days, by Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, as they were using the Brontosaurus for a vacuum. We have better vacuums now than the Brontosaurus.
Janet Yellen still looks like Bam Bam to me, that's all I gotta say.
We got to get out of the Flintstones, y'all. I'm from Texas. Did you know that?
Well, occasionally the y'all comes out.
Yeah, occasionally the y'all comes out. So, Steve, now before we continue, let's give people, really, you've been watching the presentation, but I want to give you a taste of the real pony. Okay? So, this is our actual software, and I'm giving you the demonstration of this software on the web. So, this address that you see here, anybody can go to it. If you're a Trade Ideas subscriber, you are able to see our software right away. Notice what you're watching here, a channel that focuses on what, Steve?
Cryptocurrency.
It's like we're keeping up with what's going on in the market. It's crazy. Why would we do something like that? I tried to find one of those on Think or Swim. I couldn't find it.
No, they're probably still in committee trying to figure out what to develop.
They're trying to figure out which committee to go to figure out what to develop. I love being able to do that.
We're lean and mean.
Fighting machine. So look, one of the other things that people should kind of notice, and Steve and I are to take for granted because we're so spoiled, is that our software uses language of the mind. Okay? The language of the mind, as Tiger Woods will tell you, is called myelin. Everybody start Googling. I'll wait. I'm just kidding. Myelin is the stuff in your brain. I know, Steve, we're going deep. Is the stuff in your brain that you produce when you learn something through repetition. Tiger Woods used to talk about all the time that, you know what, he will just out-rep everybody. That's what he used to say. I hit 1,000 balls, 2,000. John Daly said, I do that too. Oh, with beer. Damn. Okay. just confused about the different things, the reps and stuff. But you get the idea, right, Steve? Unmute yourself. You've been probably talking for an hour.
Yes, I'm in full agreement with you.
Yeah, I'm excited, Steve. Was it good? You got me waiting.
I'm so sorry. The hard mute accidentally clicked in there. Yes, I am following along and agreeing with you. Unfortunately, you couldn't hear me.
Everyone, listen. For everyone that wants to know, Steve was nodding his head the whole time.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, Steve, is that myelin is the language of repetition in your mind. And right now, without you having to type or do anything, your mind is watching data. Oh, look, you just switched to another piece of data. Why did you do that? Well, because you're currently idea surfing. That's something that you can see right here. That's built into the system because we understand how success works. We understand the art and science of success. And myelin, as per our good friend Tiger Woods, who probably is watching the same page right now, arguably speaking, Tiger, don't sue us. Myelin is the thing that makes things work. UBAIA. You might have never seen it. And let's just pause for, oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Here, so let me just go back here. Let's just talk about this for a minute, Steve. I know everyone's talking about Bitcoin, but let's talk about this. At 15,000 for Bitcoin to go up 100%, it's going to have to be at 30,000. At $5, UBAI went up to 100% and was at $10. Success. And then it went up another 100% to 20, and then another 100% to 30. What that is, it's like, that's called the Bitcoin bitch slap? God, is this a lot? Yeah, I believe that's what it is in terms of potentiation. How much is there to be had?
You and I have been around so long. You remember all those different years, like after 9/11, we had the defense security stocks became the hot flavor. And then after that, we had the nanotech stocks become the hot flavor. So there's always some sort of a hot flavored theme sector that's out there. And without a doubt, right now, it is the cryptocurrencies. And there still could be a lot of meat on the bones that the cryptocurrency channel might be introducing you all to, some new symbols you never had an idea existed.
And as Steve, again, points out perfectly, not only will introduce you to it, but you don't even have to do anything to get value out of it. And notice, like Netflix, we have a channel bar. Do you, for example, want to see the gainers? Well, just click on the gainers channel, and you will instantly be able to see all the stocks that are winning for the different time frames. Today, the week, the month, so as to match what it is that you're looking for.
I think one of the more popular channels is the pre-market. A lot of people start their day on our pre-market channel, seeing what is gapping up, gapping down, and what is making noise, new highs and new lows in the pre-market session. And there it is, one click, and it's all set up for you, no configuration.
Right. That's kind of like the whole thing. We are not here for you to open up the VW Bug and Mustang, put on Def Leppard and get under there and start changing your oil.
Yeah.
Although Def Leppard, some of the High and Dry is pretty good, Steve. I like that album, but I'm just saying, for the metaphor. The bottom line here, guys, is our technology, what you're seeing here, is a technology that you're not going to see anywhere else. We're the only game in town for this. We just simply encourage you to take the mental leap forward and understand the market has evolved way past everyone's imagination. We now have an artificial intelligence that is a better trader than a human, and smart humans, the ones that have already subscribed to it, are just continuing to use it because it outperforms the S&P.
Hey, just for fun, what if we type in that symbol AIQE, or is it AIEQ?
AIEQ, I think. So let's
AIEQ. Not very much data. It was just launched, and it appears to us, and what this is, guys, it's the IBM Watson artificial intelligence program for the markets. And they just happen to be taking, I think, a completely different approach than we are. And if you all recall the graphs that I commented on the AI performance throughout the entire year, outperforming the S&P, you know, that is not looking real good coming out of the gate. It basically just seems like it's following the S&P. Whatever the S&P does, this AIEQ tracking ETF with the Watson IBM artificial intelligence, I'm not real impressed just yet, but hopefully it gets its sea legs and it starts to learn what works and what doesn't. But guess what, guys? Holly has a 2-year what's the word I'm looking for? 2-year head start.
Head start advantage,
but also head start advantage.
All artificial intelligence is really what it's eating. You know, I'm sure Watson is a very powerful engine to process data, but unfortunately, the people that are giving data, they don't have what we have. That's what people don't understand. Look, you are what you eat.
Yep.
You know, if you watch your news from CNBC, that is going to be the results that you get.
I think what Dan is alluding to is here again, we've got probably over 125 years of combined experience between the 4 or 5 of us working on this. And
die.
That's by the subscriber growth. What's
we're
that?
Winning.
We're
winning. No dying.
That subscriber growth slide you showed early on, you know, definitely helps buttress that argument there, Dan.
No question, no question. So from that point of view, what I want to do now, Steve, is kind of talk about this is what's possible. This is a results generated page from November 11th. And we understand that people are busy and that there's a lot of competing ideas out there, you know, Steve. So one of the ways that we not only showcase what we do, but what we believe also help simply contribute to the free education for people out there is creating a trade of the week, which is also outperforming the stock market, meaning the indexes. This trade of the week is free to everyone, and it comes via email. Steve here is intimately involved with it. It's like he and Holly do a tango of sorts and come up with this together. I don't know what the hell happens. His wife is fine with it, apparently. So to get on there, go to the link below, trade-ideas.com/free. Register. It's a great opportunity, no risk. We're very easy to get a hold of.
Every morning you're going to get something in your email for that trade of the week. And by the way, Weight Watchers and PayPal were 2 examples he had on there. And I would venture to add Square, SQ, and also Micron that had another really nice move throughout the year. So there was a handful of really good winners that gave out double-digit percentage gains and then some.
No doubt. Visit our website, www.trade-ideas.com. You'll find like our live trading room there, also free. And of course, here's all the information should you need to get a hold of us. Please like us on Facebook. Follow myself at Trade Ideas 1 or Steve at Today Trader, and our numbers below. I want to thank everyone for taking their time.
Yes, thank you.
We know that you have a lot of options out there, and we hope that you consider us seriously because we're changing the world for individual investors. Thank you once again.
All right.
Thank you, Steve. Take care.
Good day to you.